Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to topic 2. In this topic, we're going to get into the material editing. I hope you guys have given your materials and we can just get into the editing real quick. So, for the editing, we're going to go again near the building so we can see all the materials over here. Now, once we click on the material, you'll notice that each material has now turned yellow. So green was basically until the Lumion materials were not provided. And now that we have provided the Lumion materials, we can get into the material editing. So I'll click on each of these, and as you can see, I'll be able to get this little tab on the side which gives me colorization, gloss, reflectivity, relief and scale, and then we have more settings as well which I'll get into, and we have choose color map as well as choose normal map over here. So I'll be explaining to you first each and every point over there so you guys get an understanding of why we're doing everything and what everything will basically help us to reach. So over here we have got material library, so you can click on that and go back to the library. Well, on the right you have choose color map and you have choose normal map. Now when I click on choose color map, we basically come to a selection area over here, and you can select various different materials if you want. So we can use exterior materials which you must have downloaded from online or wherever, and that material will show up here directly. The choose normal map basically means that the color will not come here directly, but the map will. So map is basically this texture that you see. So if I kind of put up another texture over here, or if I select a tile texture, so only the texture will come, but the color will not come. So that's why it's called normal map, and that's why it's called color map, right? You can download a couple of materials and just go ahead and try that. Next we've got colorization, gloss, reflectivity, relief and scale. So colorization basically means that once you start this tab, you'll see a certain color box come up here. Now the more I increase this, the more it goes towards that specific color. So if I go completely, you can see it becomes a white band as such, but if I reduce it, the color just kind of merges to what it was and then towards the white color. So I can easily change the color over here, and it will keep going towards the solid red, but then it will merge into the gray if I reduce it a little bit as well. So over here I'll keep it at white, and I'll just increase this a little bit. So I guess that's nice. Then we've got gloss. Now again, understand every single material, whether concrete, metal or whatever, has a very either little bit of shine or a lot of shine. So it depends on you now how you want to treat that material. You can increase it, and you can see if I increase this, you can actually see the gloss effect on the right over here. So over here you can see that gloss effect coming in a little bit, and when you increase the reflectivity, so I'll reduce this back to 0, so you can see when I increase the reflectivity, we have the entire material providing that reflectivity to us. And then you've got the relief. Now relief is basically all the grooves in between, or all the textures. When you increase the relief, you can see that that texture starts to become a little bit more darker. So I'll just go a little bit more inside, and it becomes a little more deeper as well. As you can see, that's the slight difference. But again, this might be small on a very zoomed in scale, but on the entire building it kind of will provide a drastic difference. And of course the last one is scale. So the scale of the material, how much do we really want it to be, how much pattern do you want to show. So I guess over here I'll want to not show that much of a pattern, so I just want to show these lines. So I guess this is nice. Now these are what each of these will really do. So now we're going to go throughout the entire building and kind of edit its colorization, gloss, reflectivity, relief and scale for each of the materials. And the more option down here, we'll get to that when I'm working with the lights. So till then I want you guys to just go around and kind of edit each material now. So I'll start as well. Here we can reduce the scale a little bit. Don't want too much of the texture, but I do want to show whatever texture is there. Slight increase in reflectivity. I guess the colorization is fine because I need it to be a little dark. Well, over here we can increase the columns more towards a brighter white color so it stands out. That's nice. Then we've got the metal. So the metal will of course have a little bit of reflectivity, a little bit of gloss, I would not want so much relief in it, as well as the scale can go to a very minimum. Yeah, but that's too much, I guess. So just a little less. I think that's okay. Now we can go near the windows, and I'd just like to see this from a closer angle. So we can reduce the scale of this, increase the reflectivity, and as I told you, we'll make it a little darker, so I'll turn it towards black, but I won't really give it that much. I'll give it a little dark grayish kind of a color. Yeah. Then we've got the glass. I think the glass is fine, because then we'll work on it later on while we are even doing the renders. Now we can go towards the bricks. I think I'll increase the scale of the bricks just ever so little. I guess that's good enough. And we've got the jali work. Now for the jali, again, the relief, I'll keep it 0. I'll increase the reflectivity as well as the gloss. And we can have this scale just a bit up like that. Now we have forgotten a material which is basically inside, but that's okay. Remember to save whatever work you have done. Click on the material and we'll kind of give it another indoor glass over here. So these are basically the toilet ventilating glasses. So we can just go ahead and do that and give this as well metal and just save it. Now I'll go down to the columns. But before that, I want to give this entire part. I told you this is a plaster area that we have given. I'll kind of increase it towards white color, and we can reduce the scale ever so slightly and increase the relief so that we do have the texture still with us. Now that looks good because it kind of brightens up the entire building. That looks neat. And we can even kind of, I think, brighten these columns up slightly. Well, not that much, I think. Yeah, that looks nice. Okay, I think that's good. Now we've got the flooring left over here. Let me select this. Scale looks fine. I think we can give it a little bit of reflectivity because in the end of the day it will be a polished wood. So we can do that. Or alright then. Now I'm going to come to my lighting over here. So for the lights, as you guys can see, I'm going to select first the frame and give it metal with chrome finishes. So we've got that. Now what I mean by lighting is this is not going to be, we're not going to place spotlights over here. What we're going to do is these are going to be the light sources. So when I select this, I'm going to give it indoor and fabric. And the reason I'm giving it a fabric, I mean, we'll just reduce the scale completely. But the reason I've given it fabric is not because I want fabric to be seen over here, but because we're going to change the, we're going to light it up basically. So we're going to give this material something called as emissivity, which kind of lightens the source up. Because even though we will be dropping light from it through a cone or through a light cone or through an omni light, we still need to light the source up, otherwise really it will not make sense. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on more now. And over here you will see something known as advanced. So you can click on advanced and you can increase this emissivity of it. So you can see how that light source everywhere throughout the building is kind of just lighting up, you know. So that's actually going to give a very nice night render. So that's kind of the what we're going for. So I'm just going to reduce the emissivity for now. Later on during the render we can see how much we want to increase it or decrease it. And we can also change the color by just changing the color here. That will actually change the color of the light coming out from it. So now for now I'm going to keep it white. And that's why I've given it fabric to create this nice light source over here. And once I'm done, don't forget to save it. Now I'm going to show you a little more of the more settings on this tile over here. So basically the tile, as you can see, has various different patterns. So I'm going to select it and I'm going to click on the more setting over here. Now in the more we have position. So the position is basically going to let you change the X position, the Y position, which is not really changing because we're not moving much in the Y direction, and the Z direction. So you can see how that will work when we click on the positioning. We can also click on orientation, and over here, now this is your positioning again. Orientation as heading, pitch and bank. Heading will basically let you turn it completely, so you can have the 90-degree turn, Over here, just going to keep it 0. Then we've got the pitch. So the pitch is again mostly just moving like the X and the Z direction. And the bank is going to let you go up and down like that. So you can actually use both of these to set different kind of materials, and if you just want to remove it, you can just click on this spanner button over here and click on the remove button. Again spanner and click on the remove button. Now the last one over here is flicker reduction, because sometimes some materials might flicker. So you can actually increase this and decrease this to how much flicker you really don't want it to do. So we can just do that, but since nothing is flickering, we can just go ahead and remove it. Yes, we can add a flicker to this material over here. So I'm just going to go ahead and select that material, and yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and select that material, and I'm going to give it a flicker reduction, and I've just increased that flicker. So you can see how the flicker has just gone away, and I'll just save it. So we've not got any flicker now over here. So that's how you can actually solve a lot of problems in Lumion. By knowing each of the commands, it will actually help you in the long run. So now that we're done with the material editing, we can get into the object placing and kind of liveling up the site. So for that, I want you guys now to first complete all the material settings like I have done. Give the nice illumination as well to it by using the emissive property. Reduce the flicker reduction if there is flickering happening in any of the other portions. And I'll see you guys in the next topic. Take care.